Good morning, students. I'm teaching social studies of 8th standard. Okay, see there geographical features and prehistoric India. Okay, see that lesson, page number 6. This is the second lesson. Okay, so today we are going to study about the geographical features of India. That prehistoric related to prehistoric India I will teach you in the next video. So there is a close relationship between human life and environment. For example, nobody prefers to live in a very hot area or in a very cold area. For example, in Jammu and Kashmir it is too cold, and it is a mountainous area. There are we are able to see less number of people are located there. But on the other hand, in Uttar Pradesh, okay, where the fertile land is there, climate is somewhat good. People, lot of number of people live there. So there is a intimate, close relationship between human life and environment. So now let us try to know the geographical environment of India. Okay, India is a subcontinent. Sub means it is more or less equal to a continent because it is a big country, seventh largest country in the world. Okay, and it is in the southern part of Asia, Asian continent, and it is a peninsula. What is peninsula? Peninsula means a land three sides covered by water. For example, India is a peninsula. See here to the west of India there is Arabian Sea. To the east of India there is Bay of Bengal. South of India there is Indian Ocean. Okay, and one side extended by land. See here in the north of India there is Pakistan, China, Nepal, and even Afghanistan is there. Okay, I hope you understood. So India is a peninsula, and its boundaries are with China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, then Bhutan. Here, see there, here there is a Bhutan. Yes or no? Then this is Bangladesh. Okay, okay, and Myanmar. Okay, this side there is Myanmar is also there. Okay, so in the northern side, it is bounded by many countries and three sides by water. Okay, so India consists of 29 states and 6 union territories, including Delhi as national capital. See, India has got 29 states. For example, Jammu Kashmir, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, all these are states and union territories. For example, Delhi, okay, then Chandigarh, then these Lakshadweep Islands, then Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These are union territories. So India is a union of states. Okay, so it is a big country, 29 states. 20, okay, so now let us uh, try to understand the India geographically wise. Okay, we can divide India into four categories. Okay, we can make four geographical divisions. So we can geographically wise we can divide India into Himalayan mountains, Indo-Gangetic plain in the north, the Deccan Plateau and coastal regions in the south. So see here, let me show in the rough map drawn by me. See here at the top in the north we are able to see the Himalayas, isn't it? Himalayas, and just below that northern plains are there. It is also known as Indo-Gangetic plains. Here main rivers Indus and Ganga and Brahmaputra is flowing, and they made this plain very fertile. Then this is Deccan Plateau. Okay, what do you mean by plateau? Plateau means the land which is flat on the top of the hill. Okay, then Here coastal area. See here, India has got big coastal line from Gujarat, then Maharashtra, then comes Karnataka, Kerala, then here comes Tamil Nadu, Orissa, then till Bengal. We are having big coastal line. Coastal line means the area which is very near to the sea. Okay. I hope you understood this. We are having Himalayas in the north. Okay, there we are able to see the biggest mountains, biggest peaks in the world, like Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the biggest peak in the world. Then, which is the biggest peak of India? Anybody knows? K2 or Mount Godwin Austen is the highest peak of India. That Himalaya, this Mount Everest is located in which country? Nepal. Okay. So Himalayas, this is one kind of this physical region. Then comes northern plains. In the northern plains, we are able to see that. Okay. Okay, north. See here. In Himalayas, we are able to see some mountains are snow-capped mountains, means snow-covered, but some of them even having forest area. So they help. These Himalayas help in the safety and security of India. That means it serves as a fence of our country. See here, this is Himalayas. See here, it looks like a fence. ಒಂಥರ ಬೇಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ ಹಿಮಾಲಯ. The enemies cannot enter our country so easily. Okay, so therefore they are providing safety and security to India. Okay, then there have been very intrusions in ancient India from the northern Himalayas. Here it was very difficult to enter India because Himalayas were there, therefore only few attacks from outsiders we are able to see. Okay, uh, but the main attacks are from northwestern side, from Pakistan side. This side, uh, okay, from Pakistan side, we are able to see many kings attacked on our country, like Muhammad Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, okay, and many star, because I hope you there is no Himalayas in between there, but here this from the China side or from Afghanistan, it was difficult to enter our country. Okay, because of uh, that Himalaya standing as a wall. Okay, then the attacks have been mainly, I told you this, from the valleys of Bolan and Khyber Pass. Okay, that which is in the border place of Pakistan. Then flat Indo-Gangetic plains are extremely fertile. Okay, this Gangetic plains here there is a Ganga river and its branches flowing here. Brahmaputra is entering. Okay, this part and here this is Indus river. Okay, the Indus river, it has got many tributaries like Satluj, Ravi, Jhelum. Okay, this part is very fertile. It is called as Indo-Gangetic plain. Okay, uh, here only civilization, Indus Valley civilization flourish, and even Vedic period. Okay, Vedic civilization also flourished. Okay, many battles took place among the various dynasties to capture this particular place. Okay, so fertile land always attracts the kings to capture them, and you know that 40% of India's population is located in this Gangetic area because it is very fertile. But on the other hand, this Thar desert, which is in Rajasthan, doesn't attract people. It doesn't attract people to stay. Therefore, even though Rajasthan is a big state in India, it has got less population because it is most of the part it's is a desert. Okay, so fertile areas always attract the people. Okay, then Narmada River separates into two. Okay, uh, then comes. Then let me tell you about Deccan Plateau. Okay, in Narmada here there is a Narmada river flows here in so this is Narmada. This Narmada river divides Deccan Plateau into one is northern part of it is called Malwa Plateau and southern part of it is called Deccan Plateau. Okay, so see here. See here, this is suppose this is Narmada river, then it separates Deccan that this southern plateau into Malwa plateau and Deccan plateau. You are all living on Deccan plateau. Okay, so in the south, Mauryas and Guptas ruled these two areas in ancient times. See here, Mauryas. Okay, family, Maurya dynasty. Can you name who established Maurya dynasty? Okay, Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka also belonged to that family. Then Guptas ruled over these two areas, means both Malava plateau and they captured Deccan plateau. Then let me come to the coastline. Okay, coastline means areas which are very near to the sea, isn't it? So India has got big coastline of around 6,100 kilometer. Okay, 6,100 kilometer. Okay, India is a peninsula. Three sides it is covered by water. The eastern coastline is called Coromandel coastline. This is eastern coastline from Bengal to Kanyakumari. Okay, so this Bengal, Orissa, then Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu coastline comes here. Okay, then the western coastline is referred as Konkan and Malabar coast. See here, this from Gujarat to till where till Kerala, okay, till Kanyakumari. See this part is known as the northern part is called Konkan coast till Goa or till Karnataka we can say. Then Kerala coastline is called Malabar coastline. Why it is called Malabar? See the people in coastal area means in Kerala speak Malayali language. Therefore, that coastal line acquired the name Malabar, Malabaris. Okay. See here, we are able to see lot of ports in those coasts. So therefore, we in ancient time we had foreign trade through those ports with Romans, with Chinese. Okay, as a result, port towns flourished there, and it also gave way for the powerful kingdoms in South India, that is like Pandyas, Cheras, Cholas. Okay, these are were very powerful kingdoms. Yeah, natural environment. Okay, physical environment also determines the prosperity of a particular place. Coastal line, why, how it prospers? By they can have okay, they can collect lot of fish, and they can also have trade with other countries through its ports. Okay, so um, here we are having a diversity of physical features in India. See here, one side we are having Himalayas. Big, see here, Himalayas. Some of them are covered with ice caps, and some of them are covered by with forest areas. Okay, then below after that comes northern Indian plains. Okay, it is a very fertile area because of three important rivers flowing there. Which one is Indus River? Here this is Indus River, then this is Ganga River, then here Brahmaputra. Okay, this because of this Indo-Gangetic plain is very fertile. 40% of the people live there, and in olden days, many dynasties fought each other to capture that area. Okay, then comes, okay. So before coming to the Deccan Plateau, that Indo-Gangetic Plain is the world's biggest plain area. Okay, flat area. Then Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau is divided into two. Malabar Plateau, above Narmada River, there is Malabar Plateau. Below that, Deccan Plateau. You are all living on Deccan Plateau. Then comes this Deccan Plateau is also very rich in rich because most of its part is covered by black soil, very useful for in agriculture. Then coastal area. India has got nearly 6,100 kilometers of coastal area, and we are having lot of ports like Bombay, then Tuticorin, Kolkata, okay, all this, Kandla. Through those ports, India had trade relationship with other countries, even in the ancient time, with Romans, with the Chinese, okay, etc. And here, therefore, we are also having desert area, but it is not mentioned in your book. So Thar Desert and some parts of this Gujarat, Ran of Kutch, is also a desert area. Okay, then we are also having islands here. This is Lakshadweep Islands in the Arabian Sea, and then this is Andaman Nicobar Island groups. Okay, these are also parts of India. Okay, so India has got a variety of people. Okay, though we are having geographical diversity, though we are our people speak different languages belonging to different religions, we showed cultural unity, okay, which all binds us together. So we know to find unity in diversity. It is the essence of our culture. So it is the main thing of our culture. Okay, I hope you understood the geographical divisions of India. We can geographically divide India into mainly into four parts. Which are they? So Himalayan mountains, Indo-Gangetic plain, Deccan plateau, and coastal regions. Okay. I hope you understood this. See here, this is Himalayas, this is northern plains. Below that, Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau is the biggest area covered. Then coastal region. Coastal region we are having around 6,100 kilometer. I think this is enough. Thank you. Good day. And you read this lesson and try to solve the question that which is comes in the last page, okay, of the lesson. Thank you. Good day.